Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce, and I am here with
Jace Marsiglia.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo?
Electric Boogaloo.
This is a part 2?
This is a sequel show, but not in a good way.
And then this one shouldn't have happened.
This one shouldn't have happened, exactly, and that's exactly what we're going to get into.
So we're going to get into sequels that should have never been made.
Yep.
Across all genres.
Yeah, because most of the ones I was thinking of were comedies.
Right.
There's a lot of comedies that should have just been a one and done. But,
Okay. Well, let me go first.
sure, hit it.
The Crow.
Yeah.
And you did say the other day when we were talking about this, even if Brandon Lee would have lived. And I think, yeah,
Just stop.
stop.
Yeah.
Because that, like you said, lightning in a bottle with
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, no, any sequel that came after that would have been...
But you know what, though? Let me say this.
I think it would have been more well received,
Right.
but it probably wouldn't have been what the first one was.
But you know what, though? Let me also say this. I wonder... That's not what the movie was supposed to be. They adapted because he died.
They did.
Because a lot of the flashback stuff is what, as far as I can remember, was scenes from the movie
Okay.
that they turned to flashbacks.
All right.
As far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it could have been, maybe it was different. Maybe not as dark. I don't know.
I don't know either. But I mean,
But again, like I said, based on the movie we have, no, I don't think they should have made...
flawless, leave it
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. Even the new one coming out with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... Or not.
Machine Gun Kelly?
That's who it is. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, Jared Leto, the Joker.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Are there 3 movies coming out?
Yeah. It's a murder.
It's a trilogy. A murder of crows. I love it. No, here's the thing. Even if they made a sequel with Lee and it was successful and it was good, if you're going to Batman this shit, eventually it's going to run into the ground. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants that. So, yeah, The Crow was kind of like just leave it alone.
It was a special movie.
It really was.
From beginning to end, soundtrack, already talked about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. You saw it in a theater?
No, I saw that. I saw The Crow on VHS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance.
I knew sitting there, and I'm sure even on VHS, it's like, you're watching something different,
Oh, for sure.
you know? And then immediately, when there was a sequel, I was like, why? Mm-hmm. And then we started seeing pictures of it, magazines and shit. And I was like, ugh.
Very gaslit.
Yuck.
It looks
Yeah.
very industrial. And
And it just fell so short.
yeah.
There was no substance, It's like they weren't even trying to emulate. They used the name and then sort of the look.
Maybe that was intentional.
Maybe.
Maybe,
I mean-
maybe they were just like, we're going to get crucified either way. Let's just do our own thing. Because if they tried to emulate the original with somebody else, you'd get crucified anyway, So, yeah. And the thing is, though, by the nature of the comics, The Crow could be anybody.
Yeah.
So it lends itself to an anthology format. I've said for years you should just put a chick in the costume.
Yeah. A chicken?
A chicken.
Oh. What about you? What do you got?
The one off the tip of my tongue when you said it was Airplane.
Ooh.
Because Airplane 2, the sequel, there's some laughs in it, but it's mostly funny because they're the same laughs from the first one.
Yeah.
It's literally the first movie on a spaceship. That's it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't find some of it funny. There's funny moments.
Yeah.
The part where the dude working the gate before you get onto the shuttle. Sorry, Timmy, no dogs allowed. And he shoots the dog and they're
Yeah.
like, holy shit. And then the dog jumps back up and he's like, fake bullets. And everyone just laughs like that wasn't the worst joke ever, you know?
Yeah.
That made me laugh. But again, it was like Robert Hayes was doing the same thing. Julie Haggerty was doing the same thing.
I mean, even some of the cameos, right, were returned.
Oh, yeah.
From the first one.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I've only seen that one time.
Doesn't hold up. It really doesn't.
And I don't remember liking it as much as I did the first one. And I did see it on VHS.
To me, that's another one that was lightning in a bottle.
The first one.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the thing is, the Zaz brothers didn't come back. Whole new crew. New director, new writers. And it was like...
Oh, so this is a studio thing.
It was a studio thing where they were just like, you know what? This movie was funny because of this, this, and this. So just include this, this, and this. And it's like,
Right. Okay.
you got to do something different, man. And the thing is, you could. Because we have 3 Naked Gun movies, and all 3 of them are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
None of them are recycling old jokes.
No.
So it's possible to sequelize a movie like Airplane and do it successfully. But Airplane 2 was just, I was not having it. Again, there's worse.
Yeah.
That's the one that came to mind when you pitched this. I was just like, ooh, Airplane 2, the sequel. It was just like the perfect example of sequelitis, you know.
When's the last time you watched it?
Airplane 2?
Yeah.
It's probably been a few years.
Really?
Yeah. I own it. The Airplane Blu-ray that I got was like a combo pack. It was Airplane 1 and 2 like on one disc.
Okay.
I think it's still in the plastic. I haven't busted it out yet. Yeah, I have it. I don't mind that I have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like, you watch it and you're like, okay, for one thing, it's hurting because there's no Leslie Nielsen.
Mm-hmm.
You got William Shatner, who I'll admit, he's got great comedic timing.
Yeah.
William Shatner's very funny in it, but it just, it fell way short of the mark.
That sucks. I mean, because they had such great source material.
They did.
To build off of.
And, a lot of people did come back. You got the two black guys who only speak jive. Mm-hmm. They show up in court and they're telling what happened on the plane. And that's the thing. There was a lot of flashbacks to the first movie that was like, damn, not only are you copying the same jokes, you're even flashing back to the same jokes. The girl, the hysterical woman who there's like a line of people ready to slap her around. She freaks out in court. So there's a line of people.
Who directed that? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. That's how you know you're not 100% into that shit when you don't even know.
It wasn't like, oh, so-and-so. Because Zucker did Naked Gun 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Peter Segal did 33 and a Third. And I remember thinking, ooh, we've changed the guard. Mm-hmm. And this is supposed to be the final Naked Gun. And it was absolutely hilarious.
It's one of my favorite ones.
The third one?
It is.
It's hysterical. And it was by someone who didn't do 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. So that was just proof that with the right person, and the fact that I just said, it was Peter Segal.
Yeah.
I remembered because it was such a fucking funny movie.
Right.
That I was like, I got to watch for this guy. And then 2 years after Naked Gun 33 and a 30, fucking did Tommy Boy, which was also fucking hilarious.
Right.
So it was just one of those deals where you do tend as a film goer to remember the people who made you laugh or scared you. But yeah, something as unmemorable and, store-bought as Airplane 2, yeah, that was a bummer. It's a bummer of a flick.
Well, I have another one.
Yeah.
And it sort of lends itself to, I guess, franchise, but it's like, I just don't feel like it needed to be franchised.
Before you tell me, like, was this the beginning of just a decline that, like, the whole franchise sucks? Or
No, I think people really like the franchise.
Okay.
I mean, my kids do. I just, coming from a standpoint of the original movie, I didn't need that extra glimpse.
Okay.
And this Karate Kid.
Oh, wow.
I didn't need him and the girl breaking up and everything falling apart and life sucking. And,
Is that the one where he goes to Japan?
yeah,
or something?
and that was the setup. And I'm like, he went to Okinawa where
something like that.
yeah, and I'm like, I don't need this.
No.
You know what I mean? We already did this, and I think had they not done it, even though the movie is a fucking cult classic, for me personally, I feel like I would like the movie even more if it was just that one.
The first one.
Yeah, because I think it's right up there with The Outsiders as far as quality and heart and, just story.
Yeah.
And they never sequelized The Outsiders as far as I know.
No. But out of the ones we've discussed so far, The Outsiders is the only one that's based on a book.
Right.
So
right. But I mean,
they could have just one and done it because
no, but I mean, here's the thing. Hollywood, they'll fucking make a movie out of anything.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking story, a fart. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It does not matter.
I think that was the only difference that I noticed that I was like, well, maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else can you do with these guys?
Well, because I mean, that's the thing is like, if they can make money off it, they're gonna sequelize it.
Well, so much about the Karate Kid is it's Rocky Jr. Mm-hmm. And Rocky.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't feel like they should have made another Rocky.
Really?
I do.
Really?
I really do.
Because that series has dips, but I like most of those.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on any of them. I'm just coming from a standpoint of like, yeah, they're there, so I enjoy them.
Sure.
I don't hate them, but it's just like when you're looking at it as like kind of clinical.
Yeah.
It's a perfect movie. You want him to live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And he does. You know what I mean? So why keep going until you see him fall?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, we all fucking fall. So it's like...
Let me ask you this. What if you at least gave, after the first one, jumped ahead 30 odd years. Rocky Balboa.
No, I don't need to catch up.
Because that movie to me was as good as the original.
It's good, but I don't need to catch up.
Fucking loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but like I said, I don't. Come on.
But
now I want to see. It's like I hate seeing my heroes as old men.
True.
Like I didn't like the Rambo movies. I'm like, no, dude, don't.
You mean anything past? You didn't like any of them, or just any?
I like First Blood. That's another one.
Okay.
We didn't need 2. We didn't need 3.
Yeah.
We didn't need Rambo. Like we just didn't need him.
Yeah.
Like when I seen that, I was like, what the fuck are they gonna be like swinging his fucking walker around at people? Like the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like enough. Like keep it right there.
Okay.
You know, if there's a set, that's the only reason I'm really getting a sequel. Truthfully, because I'm not a giant sequel fan. Period.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm just really, really not. I feel like you're retelling the same story over and over again.
Yeah.
And unless you're doing something different, but then when you do something different, you're going to fuck up the first one, you know, and then people are going to hate it because everyone wants something different until you do something different. Then they want the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's a catch-22.
It is a catch-22. I understand movies like Indiana Jones being a sequel. I really do.
Just because he's a
adventure.
globetrotter.
Yes.
You know.
I feel like it's not even that much about Indy, but it's just the situations he gets into all over the world.
Sure. Yes.
You know, and it's just his wry ass fucking just sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what sells it for him.
What about Die Hard?
You know.
Does that fit that mold where John McClane just gets...
No, because
granted, Die Hard 1 and 2... Okay, he just happens to be in another place attacked by terrorists.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You know, it's still a good movie.
Of course.
But then Die Hard 3 is a revenge film. So they bring the fight to him in New York.
Right.
I am a fan of most of the Die Hard movies. But it's one of those deals where I didn't know if that fit the same. Because Indiana Jones, you're right, there's endless treasure out there.
Yeah.
There's always a place to go.
But you see, he's doing something different.
Right. Die Hard
John McClane's not doing different things.
It's just terrorists and who are you going to call? John, you know.
Yeah. Now, maybe this is blasphemy, but it's like I don't want to say it because it's
5195podcast@gmail.com.
I don't like the sequel, but I like other parts of the franchise. Jaws.
Oh, me too.
They could have left Jaws alone, truthfully.
Oh, I think most people would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, like they could have been one and done with that.
Yeah. And to be fair, the only sequel I truly like is 3.
Me too.
You know.
That's why I said that gets a pass.
It does.
Just because it's the ultimate in 80s cheese.
It is.
And fucking extremely gory.
Extremely gory, mean-spirited.
Yeah.
But you could have called it something else.
Right.
And I probably would have been just as entertained, you know.
Okay, I got another one. I'm firing on all cylinders here, man, because I'm like...
Yeah, man.
Okay, Speed 2.
You mean the movie even the people who were in it didn't like?
Yeah, I'm like... Oh, my God.
I'm going to tell you something you're going to die. I went and seen Speed 2 opening day because it was like... It's summer. It's an action movie. It's on the water. I'm like, fucking why not? Mm-hmm. I love the first one. Keanu didn't come back, but I'm like, I like Jason Patrick. Mm-hmm. Sandra Bullock's still here. Willem Dafoe, I'm in. When I saw it at the theater, I liked it. And I really did. I was like, that's a fun movie. It's not the first one, but it was fun. And, you know, Sandra, you know, at the time she had enough charm that she could make even the shittiest movie fun.
Well, you know how to make that movie work?
Breaks.
Change the title.
Again, yeah. Because she's just, it's John McClane again. She just fell into another fucking situation.
You change the title, people are going to give it more of a chance. If you call it Speed 2, there's already a bar that's set.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if you call it Speed 2, and then you don't deliver something fun, but you deliver just the same rehashed bullshit.
And that was the thing. I watched it almost as more of a popcorn movie and had fun with it as just a summer flick. And... Ironically, even Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. You know, it got fair reviews when it came out.
Yeah.
But it became more of like a cult disaster over time.
Right.
But I noticed even watching it, it didn't hold up. Mm-hmm. You know, now I'm kind of like ambivalent about the movie altogether. But I did notice something with Jan de Bont films. His movies have the worst side characters. And I mean, this is across the board. Everyone on that bus in Speed shy of Keanu and Sandra, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Really bad line readings, really annoying characters. I didn't
Right.
even like Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
You know, like these are all just people with their one-liners, and I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. Same thing in Speed 2. I'm sorry. Same thing in Twister. Anyone who's not Bill Paxton or Helen Hunt, please sit down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, just the dialogue is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And these people are so stupid, usually, that I noticed it's like if you're going to get into a Jan de Bont film, just focus on the leads and the action and try to ignore the rest. Because as much as people love Speed, and I love Speed, outside of the leads, I'm like, no one else needed to be on this bus. Because they contribute nothing to the suspense, to the humor, any of it. It was one of those deals where I watch it now and I just get kind of perturbed.
I mean, yeah, they were just bodies.
They were.
They were just seat filler to be on a bus.
Yeah, that was it. And I mean, if they were there to just scream or whatever, okay, fine. You know, now it's a disaster movie. It's Airport. You know, it's just another vehicle disaster film. But I just could not get into it. You know, it was just one of those deals. But I mean, as far as action movies are concerned, fun shit. Real fun shit. But yeah, you're right. Speed 2 is a notorious sequel.
Yeah.
Most people hate that one.
I mean, I can keep going.
Well, look, that's an example of one that was so bad, the franchise died.
Yeah.
I know. If there was going to be a Speed 3 or 4, not anymore.
And why end on that kind of legacy? Why not keep? Because the first one is fucking... Oh, my God.
It's an
good.
adrenaline
Dennis Hopper
rush.
is the shit.
He was
dude.
great.
Just the back and forth between Keanu and Sandra Bullock.
Great.
The chemistry was awesome.
Great chemistry. And just the plot alone. How are you going to get around fucking California? Staying above 50.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to leave for the airport here in a couple of hours. I don't think we're going to do more than 30 the whole way.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was just, the idea was like, this is so absurd that it works. This is fucking great.
Right.
Another for me, and you're going to have to forgive me because I have two of them. And I mentioned them at the store. Only saw them once, hated them, and moved on with my life. And it was two other comedies. The Analyze That
Okay.
to Analyze This, and The Whole 10 Yards to The Whole 9 Yards, the Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry movie. Both first movies are hilarious. Obviously, you know, a good fella in therapy, you know, whining to Billy Crystal. It was hysterical. It's
Right.
hysterically funny. Second one, we're just doing it again. Doing it again. Whole 10 Yards. The Whole 9 Yards was basically Matthew Perry. I think he lived in Canada, and Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, Bruce Willis, he was a hitman, moves in next door. Antics ensue. It's kind of an odd couple with a body count.
Yeah.
And it was super funny. It was a good dark comedy. Why they thought to continue it, I'll never know. I don't even remember the plot of the second one. I remember it being complex. Like, oh, this guy's relative, this guy's a backstabber, who the fuck? And I checked out so early that the movie, aside from the cover of the VHS that I rented or whatever, I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know, watching it was just a slog, and it was just, you know, I'll even throw another one in there, and we're going back to Bullock again. Miss Congeniality 2.
Okay.
Did you ever see the first one?
I think I did. She's like an undercover cop or...
undercover cop in a beauty pageant.
Okay, yes, I did see the first one.
First one's funny. Michael Caine, Jesus Christ, was he hilarious in
Yeah.
it. We're just doing it again.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't funny. It didn't play. None of the jokes were funny. It just, like you said, money.
Yeah.
We're coasting on the laurels of the previous. And those are three of, to me, the most useless sequels, because even someone who's not a cinephile could watch it and go, I could have just watched the first one again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, even people that don't watch for the things that we do, they just watch it and kind of go,
Right.
you know,
I mean, the next one I'm going to say, I'm sure people are going to be upset, maybe.
you gonna stir the pot a little bit.
I don't know, maybe not. No, I don't think so. Teen Wolf 2.
Nobody likes Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But you know, it's crazy because
I'm
they
sure
keep...
it has its fans.
Yeah, because
you
they
know.
keep releasing it and putting it out.
You're
and
right.
It's fucking out there. And like,
Oh.
there's like all kinds of shit, you know?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Teen Wolf 1.
I like Teen Wolf. I like the first one because it was... Because I'm a werewolf guy.
Me too. I love werewolves.
And I just thought it was just right there shoehorned into the 80s perfectly.
Sure.
You know, I mean, Michael J. Fox
it's
was fucking
very
the
80s.
biggest fucking star on the planet.
Yep.
And I just thought it was cool because how would a normal suburban kid react to
Being a werewolf.
Yeah. And especially someone who's kind of like not Mr. Popular.
Sure.
And I like that twist on the story of like he's using this werewolf to become popular.
Yeah.
It was a cool twist.
It all winds up boiling down to the be yourself.
Right.
You know?
But then they cast Justine Bateman's brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool. So something different, maybe? And it's no.
Well,
it's not.
The funny thing about that one is when you watch it, for some reason, Jason Bateman is being taken to college by Michael J. Fox's dad.
Yeah.
It's from the get, you're like, this was clearly written to be Michael J. Fox. Mm-hmm. And they just made concessions. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it's just, to me, that's a perfect example of one of the most obvious. All right, scratch out this name. You know what I mean? We got to change, Alex Keaton to,
Yep. Yeah.
And, we already hired the dad to come back and one of the buddies. So
he's already paid. So we got to do it.
And it was one of those deals where it was just kind of like 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I see what you did. Take me for the ride. Let's see if it's worth it. And by the end, I'm like, no, not even a little bit.
Okay. What about I Still Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah, one and done.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have been. And the thing is, I say that I don't like the movie.
Okay.
I don't.
Any of them?
Beyond the first?
No, so you like the first one?
No, the first one I think is a lot of fun.
Oh, I think it's great.
I mean,
it's a cool concept.
It's not particularly scary.
No.
It's easy to, the jumps are non-existent.
I mean, that's a summer money movie for the studio.
But it's a fun summer slasher 80s throwback movie. Second one, I remember seeing that one at the theater when it came out. I remember liking the location. Okay, you took it from, coastal rural America to the Bahamas during a fucking rain season for whatever reason. like they'd be open,
right.
But it was dark. It was mean. It was gorier. They somehow got Jennifer Love Hewitt in a bikini and gave her body a quick once over from top to bottom. And you had Jeffrey fucking Combs in it as the only bright spot. He's hilarious in it. Take all that away, fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. It is an annoyingly stupid movie.
See, it was so stupid for me, I couldn't appreciate the good stuff.
No, and the thing is, the only reason the good stuff really stands out, I'm one of those people that's like, if there's anything good about this movie, I'm going to grab on with both hands.
Yeah.
Even if they're two handfuls. Mm-hmm. And just stay there. Even Jack Black, who I love, isn't funny in this. Nope. He's annoying. Mekhi Phifer, I can't think of a more useless character because he goes from... He's basically the Debbie Downer of the group who's like, Julie, the fisherman's dead. There's no fisherman, blah, blah, blah. Literally, he's walking into rooms where there's dead bodies and people being carved up, and he still turns to Julie and goes, "You're being crazy, wake up." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the fuck does it take? You know what I mean? And literally, he dies saying, there ain't no fucking fisherman. And then he gets a hook through the throat. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I felt bad because I like Mekhi Phifer. I'm like, what a thankless role.
Yeah.
They wrote him as a dick to be a dick. And it was like, not only is he a dick, but he's so stupid that even with bodies piling up around you, you're like, there ain't no fucking killer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It made me nuts. I was so mad watching that movie.
Yeah.
But it was just, that was one but that falls into it being a horror film. So many horror films they tank after the first one. Mm-hmm. Franchises are hard to maintain.
Yeah.
But that was one that it became the very thing that Scream was making fun of 2 years prior. Mm-hmm. It would just, and that was another thing that pissed me off about slasher movies after Scream. You set a new bar and everyone else was like, oh, we're just going to ignore that bar, but try to do the same thing.
Right.
We're Scream too. Look at how we make our posters, but you're not smart. You didn't up the game after it threw down the gauntlet. So that one's a pretty superfluous sequel to say the least.
Definitely.
I've got one that we didn't need, and I liked anyway.
Okay.
Just to put a little spin on it.
All right. Lethal
Weapon 4. Because to me, Lethal Weapon and Die Hard both ended as trilogies.
Yeah.
Supposedly. And then 5, 10 years later, I don't even remember. they're like, we're doing a Lethal Weapon 4. And the same thing as you, where I'm like, all right, how old are these guys getting? This is going to be a little weird. It wound up being one of the better sequels, in my opinion. It's fucking rad. That's the one with Jet Li.
Yeah.
You know, and he was a pretty vicious villain. The fights in it are fucking dope. Gibson and Glover, like no time had passed. But that was one that I was like, when they announced it, I had the same feeling as what this show is about, where I'm like, why?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And it was like, I saw it at the theater and was like, fuck, that was pretty good. But please stop.
Yeah.
And now Lethal Weapon 5 is on deck.
Is it really, for sure?
There's even photos on IMDb, not set photos, but it's photos of Mel and Danny hanging out, you know, promotional type stuff. And apparently Mel's directing it.
Okay. Well, I mean, nothing I can do, so we'll see, I guess. You
Yeah.
know?
But it could be the same thing where I go into it poo-pooing the whole thing, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, you ended it pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, despite what this episode's topic is, I do go into these with an open mind.
Oh, no, so do I. I'm just saying this is like one and done.
Right. We're not cynically coming at it like, here's the dumb sequels that shouldn't have been made. And it's like, no, this is just what would have happened if they stopped here.
And just saying that there was enough with the first one to put it to bed. And make other new stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have one? Because I have one on deck.
You go next.
Okay. Dust Till Dawn 2. I wasn't excited when they announced.
I was.
I was not.
I was super excited.
Yeah, I just...
Because I love the first one. Great movie. And potential for sequels.
See, I didn't want it. I didn't want the sequel. I don't know why, because I felt like...
The third one made more sense being a prequel.
Yeah, but see, even that's still that's a loaded weapon.
It is, but the final shot of that first one is just a temple of wreckage on a cliff.
Right.
I'm like...
See, and I was happy with that.
I mean, it was great because it spoke volumes.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, these guys have been fucking truckers up since God knows when.
Yeah. And it's going to continue.
Yeah. So
that was it.
When they announced 2 and 3 in tandem, because I believe they were shot together, the third one being a prequel, I'm like, that makes sense.
Right.
But when they said 2, I was like, didn't the titty twister pretty much explode? And then they just went to it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's supposed to fit in. Did it take place before the first one? Did it? I
don't even know.
Because Danny Trejo's in it again as the same guy who died.
Yeah.
You know, the same vampire. But I was stoked because this was the early days of IMDb. I looked it up. The news was kind of pouring in a little bit. And I'm like, oh, Robert Patrick and Bruce Campbell? Because those were the 2 names that they had cast. And I'm like, fucking Evil Dead is meeting From Dusk Till Dawn. Those worlds are colliding. You know, I'm like, fuck yeah. Bruce Campbell has a cameo at the beginning in a movie within a movie. Done.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the story starts and you're like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. You know, it was just bad.
It was bad.
Real bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was not a fan. I knew as soon as they announced, I was like, no, this is gonna be tough.
My next one, again, I'm speaking as someone who thinks the sequels are fair. They're not bad. I don't really dislike them. Tremors.
Yeah, I totally it was on my list.
Was it?
Like, I totally fucking agree.
Because
even though the other ones are fun.
They're fun movies. And to be honest, it's Tremors 2 in particular that made me go, direct-to-video sequels, not so bad.
Yeah.
Because when it went right to video, I'm like, because the first thing you think of is the budget's going to be an inkling.
Yeah.
Bacon didn't come back. You know, half the cast isn't there. And it's just, direct-to-video used to be the kiss of death, you know, even though they were moneymakers.
Right.
But the first movie, as much as I enjoy the other ones for what they are, that first one is such a towering entertainment value. It's so goddamn good that it's like, yeah, you could have stopped. You could have stopped right there.
They totally could have stopped.
You know, and I would have been thrilled.
Yeah.
You know, but I went for the ride.
Right. I mean, I liked them. I watched them.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I've seen any beyond 4. I think we're like up to 7 now.
No.
I haven't watched any of them.
They're going neck and neck with Amityville.
Yeah, and it's I want to say that the stalwart is still Michael Gross. He's been in every single one of them. I'll get to him eventually, but I'm in no hurry.
Yeah.
Literally because of that reason. They're fun, but
it's almost like I feel like I've already seen them.
Yeah, and you probably have.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of them takes place like in the Arctic. Okay, it's Tremors on ice. You know, whatever.
Thing makes Tremors.
Yep. So,
You have another one?
You go ahead. I do have another one on deck, but
RoboCop 2.
oh god, yeah, those are bad.
Yeah, they are bad because the first one,
First one's a fun movie, man.
the violence, you know,
It's
just
brutal.
the setup.
Yeah, the violence in the first movie for just an action flick is fucking brutal.
No,
There's some
totally.
nasty
And-
shit in that movie.
I'm not a Peter Weller fan.
Yeah, I never. Really,
I don't like his work. I just don't.
to be honest, he was in Dexter for a season.
Yeah.
he was all right. With the exception of RoboCop, the only other movie I like that I remember seeing him in was Leviathan. That's a fun. To me, it's The Thing underwater.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm not real well versed in Peter Weller.
I'm
I
not.
never saw Buckaroo Banzai,
Yeah.
any of that stuff. Yeah, his filmography for me is pretty limited. It's like RoboCop and Leviathan.
Only reason I watch Buckaroo Banzai is because of John Lithgow.
Yeah, he is in that, isn't
I
he?
like him a lot.
And it's supposed to be a pretty bonkers movie.
It is pretty rad. But,
But,
again, I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just not. You know, but it was cool
Sorry.
in RoboCop because
Sorry.
they
Doctor.
covered
Dr. Peter Weller. Sorry.
they covered up his face and it didn't sound like him. So I was like, all right.
No, that's true.
This is a great Peter Weller movie. It's not him. So fucking awesome.
No, I'll even go on record and say I think Leviathan's better than RoboCop.
I agree with you.
But those are the two that, I mean, even in Dexter, I don't remember who he played. Mm-hmm. He didn't leave it didn't leave an impression other than, isn't that RoboCop?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
about it. But yeah, I haven't seen much by Peter Weller, so I got no real say other than RoboCop 2 and 3 are pretty bad.
They are bad. Because
And I-
that first one's so fucking hardcore,
It
man.
really is a hardcore movie.
Like, especially when Ed 209 walks in that fucking boardroom
oh, the big
and it locks in on that dude, and he's like, okay, turn it off. Okay, this ain't getting fun. You know,
What?
okay.
a fucking scene.
And it just Swiss cheesed his ass.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was super fucking brutal.
As a filmmaker, I'm like, how many fucking squibs did they put on this guy? And did any, like, he must have limped home. Like,
Yeah.
because squibs, they can hurt
Yeah, they can totally
when they
hurt.
pop. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this guy, he had to have squibs head to fucking toe.
Exactly.
I mean, this guy was walking around he was a net full of floated condoms.
definitely.
For those who don't know, squibs, Tom Savini usually fills condoms with fake blood so that they explode.
Yep.
But yeah, that's to me when I think of RoboCop. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the scene I think of. It's not even RoboCop.
Right.
It's the boardroom scene because it's so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. What about Return of the Living Dead 2?
Yeah, I'm done after the first one.
Yeah, me too.
I like 3.
3's rad.
3 is fucking cool.
I
but
like the connection between him and the chick.
that's about it.
That's cool. I liked in 2 that they did bring the two guys back because I did like them. But you know what?
I didn't like that.
Oh, well, no, I just thought it was cool. But,
well, sure, of course. I mean, to me, it's like I like these actors.
and that's all it was, you know?
know.
But as far as it being something different, no.
Not at all.
Part
And
3 was something different.
Part 3 was something so different that I almost don't even consider it a sequel.
No, not at all.
It's its own fucking
It's a
thing.
completely standalone. Like, I love that zombie that they have, like, that gray-haired looking guy. I always referred to him as the Orville Redenbacher zombie.
Yeah, where he's like in the overall.
And then they shoot him in the fucking head with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of 2.
me neither.
You know?
I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of 2.
I mean, 1 is flawless.
It's a flawless horror comedy.
Every frame is flawless.
Absolutely great.
The soundtrack.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, the soundtrack is fucking.
Oh my
rad.
God.
I got that on vinyl.
Yeah, same.
But no, 2 was another money grab, and it was too goofy. But yeah, I do enjoy 3. And then if we get Billy Butler on the show, his story about 4 and 5 will infuriate you.
Really?
You will be mad.
Really?
Like I'm not even sure he'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But he was hired to write 4 and 5. And as a fan of the original, he was like, I'm going to make the best Return of the Living Dead sequel. They're going to tie to the original in every way.
Are you kidding me?
And the studio completely shanghaied him. And what we got is, he said, what hit theaters was like 1% of what I gave him. He goes, those are not my movies. And that was an endeavor that took years. And he was so fucking stoked. And he did it with so much love of the original.
How far along did he get?
Oh, the scripts were done. The studio was like, yeah, these are great. Change everything.
Yeah,
that's
change everything.
I mean, in a nutshell, it was basically like they bought the scripts. His name is still on the movie, which he absolutely hates.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. And he goes, that what you guys watched was a complete train wreck. And
wow.
It's a train wreck with my name on it without an inkling of what I wrote. So yeah, I'd love to see what his original plans were.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's from his book that I read, it sounds like it was going to be the ultimate send off to the series. Like,
but he doesn't go into detail on what they were.
No, and he probably can't. I wonder if he can't.
Probably not.
But yeah, he said he's rarely been more crestfallen than when he saw the finished product and was like, this is the complete opposite of what I wanted.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that fucking sucks.
That's a brutal one.
That is.
But yeah, if we ever got him on the show, I'd love to pick his brain. I mean, pre-show, I'd be like, can we talk about this?
Yeah, just
yeah. But yeah, if you want to know more, read his book, Tawdry Tales of the horror. I think it's like the horror guy next door. But yeah, Billy Butler, his book is quite the tell-all. But that chapter alone, it was a couple of chapters actually, because this was an ordeal. Making those films was a fucking ordeal for him. And yeah, those are sequels that the woulda, coulda, shoulda is big. It's a real bummer.
And that just makes me wonder, what else have we?
I would love a show where we do something like that, where it's like the movies that could have been.
The what ifs.
The what ifs. Woo. Yeah, it's called Tawdry Tales and Confessions from a Horror's Boy Next Door. If you're a fan of Billy Butler, Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead, Leatherface 3, and pretty much any Empire movie, starting from like Ghoulies, maybe, 83, 84, you'll get stories and stories and stories, and it's so fucking rad. Such a great book.
Yeah. Huge fan of Billy Butler.
Yeah. Super cool guy.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
And it's another one that they could have stopped, but I like most of them. And that would be Hellraiser. 1 and 2, I feel like, are kind of a combo because they're both, that does feel like one big story.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the way 2 ends, I feel like they put it to bed. Anything beyond that, kind of superfluous, unneeded, but I enjoyed most of them. And I really liked 5 through 7 or 8. The Dimension line. Because I know there's 2 or 3 more without Doug Bradley, and I've not even given them the time of day.
Yeah.
I haven't watched them. But Hellraiser Inferno with the cat from Nightbreed, where he's like a crooked cop, and he, it's these, they were all scripts that weren't Hellraiser scripts, that were tailored to become Hellraiser, but they tailored them in such a way that it was fucking rad.
Yeah.
And Pinhead and the Cenobites were relegated to the way they were in these sequels in the first one, where the story is about fucking with shit that you shouldn't fuck with, and then at the end, mostly at the end, they show up and you get your comeuppance before being dragged to hell.
Right.
And so to me, those Dimension sequels were pretty decent. They weren't bad. But to me, and I know I'm kind of cheating here by saying 1 and 2, I think after those first 2, we could have stopped and I'd have been just fine, because they do feel almost too symbiotic to pull apart, even though they're only separated by a year.
Right.
But it's the Kirsty story. And the thing is, without spoiling it, I know it's 30 fucking something years old, but we have newbies who listen. It ends. It's an ending. It is done. You know, and I thought it was kind of put together with a nice little bow.
Right.
But I'm a big fan of just the Cenobites.
I mean, yeah, they're cool
From an effect standpoint.
Yeah, that I love that idea.
It's just so
Like, they're
fucking
cool.
rad and weird and just.
Yeah, I like the first one.
You don't even like the second?
But I just felt like I got enough in the first one. I was like, okay, it's cool. I felt like after that, the rest of them, I just felt like I was being just like kind of Clockwork Orange fucking just indoctrinated with this crazy shit.
It is, and it's
You know?
super fucking
But I'm
crazy
just like,
shit.
don't beat me over the head over and over and over because it's making me not even like the first one.
Oof, that's
So
terrible.
I stopped, you know, and it's like, okay,
So-
I was able to just enjoy the first one.
So then for you, this is perfect for this show.
Definitely.
The first one is.
I'm one and done. Like,
Were you a big fan of the first one? Or?
I wasn't a big fan. It's fun.
It's a great, yeah.
You know, it's a fun movie because at that time it was different than all the other
Oh,
Freddy's
man.
and Jasons and Leatherface and Michael Myers coming out. You know, it was completely different.
I still find the Cenobites and Pinhead more frightening than like the big three.
Yeah.
You know, like Freddy and Jason and all
Right.
that. Because they're just, I've never seen characters in a horror film who do the most atrocious, awful things, but they're bored with it. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes them scary. Something that we could witness that would drive us out of our minds with PTSD.
Right.
And they're like, it's just another day at work. And I'm like, oh, how sick do you got to be?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, and we debated once off the air. It wasn't part of an episode, but it was like, who could kill Pinhead? Mm-hmm. You know, if you pitted him against all these other guys. And I'm like, Pinhead fuck you up without moving.
yeah.
He could just stand there and just let chains tear you to pieces.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, he's one of the scariest ideas
Right.
in horror, in my opinion.
No, definitely.
I got an easy. I got a low ball for you.
Probably need tighter underwear.
Maybe when I get older, I'll go back to briefs.
He's just got one low ball.
Maybe I'll go back to some underoos.
All right. Give me your low ball.
The fucking Exorcist.
Oh, yes.
Just done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Jaws. Just
Yeah.
stop.
Stop.
Stop, stop, stop.
It's a perfect movie.
And I say that as a fan of 3.
I like 3.
I like 3.
But-
But
I love
again,
it.
after that first one, it's
Yeah.
like,
But don't you think they could have renamed part 3 something else? It just could have been a different.
technically they did.
They did, but I mean, they still attached the Exorcist to it.
Well, that's what I mean. I think Scream Factory either dug up or cobbled together William Peter Blatty's Legion.
Okay.
It's just Legion, which was the title of his book, which was the sequel to The Exorcist,
Yeah.
which in itself was really just a Lieutenant Kinnerman story that happened to have possession in it. If it was released as Legion, you could bridge it yourself. It's not The Exorcist 3.
Right.
And for what it is, I do enjoy it, but what a badly maintained series. Mm-hmm. It's so bad. And
It is.
You know, it's another one like Jaws to me where it's like, why would you even try to step into the shadow?
Yeah, especially coming out the gate with something so strong.
So strong. And, you know, that's, again, like with The Crow, it's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
There will never be another Exorcist. No one will ever release something that impactful. So the idea to even bother sequelizing it,
It was silly.
it is silly and it's drab.
Yeah.
And in the case of Exorcist 2, fucking weird. It is a weird fucking movie, dude.
yeah. Right.
It's artsy and dumb, and it just we could have a whole episode about my thoughts on Exorcist 2, but
Yeah.
it's just even the slightly better ones when they tried to Hollywood it up,
Yeah.
even this last one, Believer, it's just no, no,
I know.
just not doing it for me.
Well, I have one that, like, even the first one's not that strong of a movie, and it's good. You know, there's obviously stuff better.
Sure.
And people hold it on high regard, and the majority of people hate it because I don't know, I don't know. I don't know why people hate it, but I don't feel like we needed a second one.
Okay.
And because, like I said, the first one was like, you know, the people involved were but it's like, do we really need a Creepshow 2? I'm just kidding.
Is that for the E.T. dig?
Yes, it was.
Is that for Mac and me?
It was.
Even saying E.T.
It
and
was.
Mac and me in the same breath?
It was. I was like, I wonder how this guy's getting to the airport tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a long walk to LAX.
Fuck, now I will hitchhike. I don't want to share space with you. No, that was one we could be on Creepshow 10 right now.
No, I know. I was just kidding. I fucking yeah. I
Well,
wish. I wish we had Creepshow 10.
The thing is, it opens up a good point. Does this theme that we're doing work with anthologies?
Well, you know what?
Because there's such a mixed bag.
Maybe that's something we should do on another show.
We could do that.
Because that's a good idea.
Because it's like anthologies, it's not like we're carrying characters over. Maybe the host
Yeah.
But that's
That's a good question.
like, why isn't there other Cat's Eye?
Yeah.
Why aren't there more Tales from the Dark Side movies? You know?
right, right.
I think anthologies are almost immune to this type of thinking
Uh-huh.
because by nature, they're forced to be different.
Right.
They have to be.
And it's so set up for longevity.
That's what I
That's
mean.
what's weird about the thing, you know?
It's just, but the thing is, Hollywood does not like anthologies, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's such a fucking, it's a basket of different, you know?
Right. Okay, well, I mean, that's all I had.
Yeah, me too, I think.
Well, I'm going to end with Robo wants an Oreo. You don't know the story?
I don't think I do.
Okay. I'm not going to get into it now, but Robo wants an Oreo.
Okay.
Until next time.
See you guys.